Father, thank you for your many blessings. Thank you for the rain that we've had and the sunshine that we're going to have for the rest of the week. Be with us tonight as we try to do what's best for our students, our teachers, our community, our administrators. Help us make the best decisions for them. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, looking for a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Ms. Bilderback. Second by Ms. Battle. All those in favor? All right, thank you. We're going to come down to student and staff recognition.
Good evening. My name is Jim Finch. I'm superintendent of schools here, and our staff and student recognition for the month of August is from our national robotics teams from both the middle school and the high school. So at this time, I will call up the middle school principal, Mr. Herbert Chambers, and we will begin the presentation for the middle school students. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Herbert Chambers. As Dr. Finch said, I'd like to thank Dr. Finch and our chair, Mr. Head, as well as our board for having us here so we can recognize our kids' efforts. At this time, I would like to call down the Cody K-9s. As I call you down, young folks, could you line up in the front and face the crowd for us as you please? Starting off with Mr. Anderson Barrett, Christian Bergen, Hunter Dickerson, Elizabeth Good, Caleb Keenan, Sophia Larry, Andrew Morris, Ansh Patel, Neil Patel. Our coaches, Ms. Morgan Glover and Ms. Adair Woodward. I would like to talk about the season awards that we achieved this year. The region tournament, we had first place in robot performance, first place in robot design. Super regional tournament, we had first place in innovation project, second place in robot performance. For our state tournament, we had first place core values and placed fourth overall. For our national qualifier in Worcester Polytechnic Institute, better known as WPI in Massachusetts, we placed 39th in robot performance out of 107 teams. You all, I'd like to thank the parents to help us achieve this for our young folks. Could you all please give them a round of applause?
Sure, everybody has a window. said, here's your shot.
And we also have our high school Mary Persons robotics team here for recognition as well. This time I'll call up the high school principal, Ms. Sharonda Ellis.
Good evening. Thank y'all for joining us this evening as I have the distinct honor of recognizing our MP Cerberus team. Whenever I call you guys' names, y'all will come to the front. We have Jason Anderson. Patrick Howell. Connor Gates. Carson Sands. Dylan Soto. Megan Milliken. And Sadie Dutton. I would also like to recognize the hard work of our coaches and our mentor, Ms. Ashley Ellison and Ms. Jennifer Honeycutt, and our mentor, Mr. John Swain. A couple of their accomplishments this year, these are huge accomplishments, is that we were second place for the Inspire at Region. We were third place in state, as well as we got fifth place in the Alliance at Premier event. And that is kind of out of, students from 4 different countries. So that's a huge accomplishment for our MP Cerberus team. So let's give them all a big round of applause.
Keep it open. Smile in 3, 2, 1. Give me one without, just in case we need a professional shot here. Y'all are killing it. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to move and let families get their thing.
Great job.
That is the recognition. Thank y'all for coming. We're going to reconvene the board meeting in the boardroom in 3 minutes. Back in session, and looks like Dr. Finch, we got some consent items to go over, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We have the fundraiser requests that are in your attachment there. And again, we're at the beginning of the school year. We try to make sure our folks have in their plans for fundraising for this first semester. So the August approval is always the biggest approval that we have, and we have gone through all of those to ensure the appropriate start time, but you can see they're all over the district, from the high school to the middle school, to all points in between. Usually the high school has the most at the beginning of the year. And then as far as field trip requests go, you can see the ones from there at 2 of them at the high school that require board approval for overnight trips. And you can see cross country that's traveling to Hinesville. You have the National FFA Convention from Mary Persons High School, and the annual Hubbard overnight trip to the Georgia Aquarium. And then finally, your board meeting minutes from July 8th and the call board meeting on July 24th.
Looking for a motion of approval?
I move we approve all the consent items, field trips, fundraisers, and the 2 sets of minutes.
I second.
All right, and a motion and a second. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, tonight we have our Transportation Department updates, and we have Mr. Jake Davis here from our Transportation Department. Mr. Davis is our Transportation Director, and so at this time, I will turn the podium over to him. Glad to have you here, Mr. Davis.
Glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to present some updates to you tonight. We've had a lot of pretty substantial accomplishments in the Transportation Department over the last year, and I want to be able to share some of that with you this evening, as well as a few other things. So this is kind of an overview of what we'll be going over this evening. Just want to share some numbers with you, just so you have an idea of what the scope of the transportation operation is like, how many buses we got, and things like that. And then we'll talk about some of our highlights from the last year, some of the accomplishments of our transportation team, and some safety things that we accomplished. We'll also talk a little bit about some growth and challenges associated with that growth that we're seeing. We all know the district is growing, and with growth comes some additional challenges, especially for transportation. And then we're always focused on continuous improvement. So at the end, I'll share with you some things that we're working on right now. We plan to work on throughout the school year to continuously improve. So looking at some numbers for transportation, we have a total of 87 school buses in our fleet, and we operate 66 bus routes. And that covers our regular ed bus routes as well as our special needs bus routes. And we have about 71 drivers, and the additional drivers beyond our 66 routes, why we have more than 66 drivers, is because we have what we call lead drivers. And our lead drivers, their main objective is to fill in for drivers who are absent or who may be on a field trip or something like that. So that gives you an idea of how many drivers we've got. We cover approximately 6,100 miles every school day. It's hard to believe that, isn't it? 6,100 miles every school day on an average school day. And I tried to come up with a good real world example of just how far that is. If you get in your vehicle and you drive from Tampa, Florida, up to Seattle, Washington, and then turn around and come back to Tampa, Florida, that's about 6,100 miles. So every day, every school day, that's how far school buses are traveling. Now, over the course of a 365-day calendar year, of course, we've got weekends in there and summer and things like that, but we travel about 1.2 million miles over the course of the school year. And that is the equivalent to about 47 trips around the earth at the equator. So a lot of miles. Our buses are on the road a lot of the times, picking up and delivering students, taking them to activities throughout the school year, throughout the summer, on the weekends and things like that. Our buses are almost always rolling. Moving into some highlights that we experienced throughout the last year. We had 0 out-of-service defects during our state bus inspections, and that's a big deal. There's not many districts that are able to accomplish that, and so every year the Georgia Department of Public Safety comes out, they send their officers out, and they inspect all of our school buses in our fleet. and they're checking a bunch of different, they have a whole list of items that they check. And so we had no out-of-service defects, which is a huge, props to our mechanics and our bus shop staff for making sure that our buses are kept up to where they need to be, and to our bus drivers for reporting issues that come up so that they can be repaired. So, big shout out to them. And speaking of our bus shop folks, I also want to mention, most of you know that Michael Knight was named 2025 Georgia School Bus Technician of the Year. We've talked about that. But we also learned that in June that Philip Lasser, our second mechanic out of 2, he won the 2025 Georgia School Bus Technician of the Year. So that is, this is an award that's only given to one mechanic in the state of Georgia every school year. So for us to be as relatively small as we are, to have both of ours win in back-to-back year is very, very impressive. So as you can imagine, we are very fortunate to have these 2 guys working in our bus shop. They take very good care of our buses. They take very good care of our bus drivers. And I certainly want to thank them for what they have done. I also want to thank our shop foreman, Robert Singleton, as well for his leadership in that. So congratulations to them. Also, we had the 2025 Middle Georgia RESA School Bus Driver of the Year, Miss Mary Wessels. If you don't know Miss Wessels, she drives a route over at T.G. Scott Elementary. She drives Route 708. She's been with Monroe County Schools, I think, for about 10 years now. And she's a great driver. She interacts well with her parents and her students. She always goes above and beyond. But one of the things that's most special about Miss Wessels, and I know I'm going to get this wrong, but she has had perfect attendance for, I want to say, like 5 or 6 years or more in a row. Not even missing half a day. She has had perfect attendance. So that is very impressive, very hard to do, especially being a school bus driver and being out and about all the time, not to catch anything or have to even go to a wedding or anything like that. There's nothing that she's had to do. So that's very impressive over that long of a time. Also, we have monthly safety and training meetings with all of our bus drivers and bus monitors. And this is something that we started actually year before last, but last year was our first full year of doing it every single month. And so each month we have a safety and training meeting, and we cover different topics throughout the school year. Whatever needs to be covered at that given time, we'll go through. And so this top image, top right, is an image of some of our bus drivers going through some pre-trip inspection training. So we're showing them how to properly inspect the bus before they start on their route so that they can identify anything that needs to be addressed, make sure it's safe to operate. We also got the opportunity to participate in several community events throughout the school year last year, including we went to multiple trunk or treat events. We also participated in the Hometown Holidays Christmas Parade. You see our bus that was decorated here, the bottom right. And we had a great time doing that and enjoy the opportunity to be able to connect a little bit more with the community that we serve. And then I want to wrap up the highlights with the school bus safety poster contest. Derek Franco, who was in middle school last year, he participated in the poster contest and actually finished second in the state in his division. And one of the interesting things is the person who he finished second to went on to win the national competition. So very impressive on his part. I know this is the drawing that he submitted, and the longer you look at this, the more detail you see. It's really quite remarkable, the thought that went into it. There's no way I could ever draw something like that, but I don't think I could even think up some of the design elements in that and some of the themes in there. So that was very, very impressive. They have to go, they have to use the theme that's set, safety first, safety always. So the way that he included the infinity sign and all that in there is just, it's kind of blows my mind. But congratulations to him. Also want to mention some of our, some growth and challenges that we face because of the growth. We all know the school district enrollment has grown, and with enrollment growth, typically you have an increase in bus riders as well. And we have certainly seen that over the last about 4 years or so. We've seen about a 30% increase in bus ridership, registered bus riders. And what that does is it really puts pressure on our resources that we have available. And obviously we have limited resources, especially when it comes to our human resources, our bus drivers, our bus monitors, even our office staff and bus shop staff. We're limited on how many of those folks that we have. We're also limited in our equipment that we have. So how many buses we have to operate, the space that we have at our bus shop, our office, things like that. Those can all be resource limitations that we have to work through. And so we have to, over the last several years, be as efficient as we can, think outside the box, do the best we can to improve our efficiency, and that's something that we're going to have to continue to do as we move forward, as we expect the enrollment to continue to go up and bus ridership to continue to go up. Continuous improvement looking forward. So looking ahead, we've got several projects that we're already working on for this school year. And I'm a big believer in continuous improvement. If we're not always continuing to improve ourselves, our team, our department, then we're leaving stuff on the table that we don't need to be leaving on the table. So these are just some of the things that we're working on. Obviously, we want to continue our focus on safety and training efforts. That is the most important thing, I believe, in our department, is to focus on safety, focus on making sure that our drivers and our students are trained appropriately to protect themselves and to protect others around them, around the bus. We're also working on an upgrade to our two-way radio repeater and our antenna. So our buses are currently operating on an analog radio system. So that's a kind of an older model, and it's way past time for us to upgrade our repeater. So what our plan is to get that upgraded along with our antenna this year, and kind of prepare for the future by installing a repeater that's capable of doing digital communications as well as analog. So we'll actually start off using it as an analog repeater, and then in order to be able to switch to digital, we've got to upgrade all of our bus radios as well, which is obviously a greater expense to do that. So we're going to try to do that over time and eventually be able to have a completely digital radio system, which is a much more modern setup that will be a lot clearer to hear and operate. We're also working on full implementation of our new bus planner, bus routing software. So this is something that we just implemented this school year. And there's a lot of features in that program that we're still working on implementing. So far we have launched Bus Planner Web and also the Chipmunk app for parents to be able to track their child's bus. One of the things that community members might not know about that's available to them, if you look at the image here on the right, you can actually go to the school system website and type an address in and be able to see what elementary school zone a particular address falls in. You can also just pull up a school and zoom in and move the map around and look at the zone for each elementary school, which can be helpful for folks that are in real estate looking to buy a house or sell a house or whatever it might be. That's a very useful tool for them that's available on the website now. We also want to continue working towards 100% air-conditioned buses on our bus routes. Now, one thing I want to thank you all greatly for is your approval for our most recent bus purchases of the last few years, because that has really got us a lot closer to being 100% on air conditioning for our route buses. We also were able to retrofit a few of our buses a couple years ago that helped boost those numbers as well, because just 2 or 3 years ago, right now we're at about 95% of all of our route buses. But 3 or 4 years ago, we were probably sitting at about 55%. So we've come a long way in a short period of time, and I cannot thank you all enough for helping us with that. And we look forward to getting those 3 more buses. We've got 3 more, and we can be 100%. So that's what we're gonna shoot for. And then, we always are evaluating our routes, we're evaluating our staffing, and our fleet needs throughout the year as, again, the district continues to grow, the environment around us continues to change. We're always looking at ways that we can do better, that we can be more efficient and get students where they need to go safely. And, with that, that's all I've got. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Davis?
No questions, but a big thank you for what you do for us.
Well,
Thanks for
I appreciate
transportation
I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Well, as you can tell, there have been a lot of great highlights from this previous school year and even the school year before, but, you know, to have all of that, Mr. Davis must be an extraordinary leader in his department, and I can, after a 32-year career that I've been in, I can unequivocally state that he's the best transportation director I've ever been around. And so, Jake, we thank you for your leadership and all the accomplishments. We look forward to your leadership on the continuous improvement efforts as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jake.
Thank you.
Continue on to our annual reports.
All right. So as we move on out of here, what we have is we have our leadership teams from all of our schools, and we have the lineup that you see in your notebook, and it is linked here also on the on assembly. But at this time, what I will do is turn it over to our Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning, and that'll be Ms. Alicia Elder, and we will start with her presentation as well.
Well, good evening. So the Georgia Milestone scores were recently released this past Friday to the public so that stakeholders can view county reports and school reports from across the state. So at this time, we're going to share some of the highlights from each of the grade levels that were assessed by the Georgia Milestones. So the Georgia Milestones measures how well students have learned the knowledge and skills outlined in the state-adopted content standards in English language arts, math, science, and social studies. And this chart shows the content areas that are assessed in the state of Georgia and their associated grade levels or high school course. Now for the end of grade milestones, which is the top line, the top row, ELA and math are administered in grades 3 through 8. Science is added to grade 5 and 8, and then social studies is added to grade 8. So students in grade 5 are given 3 assessments, and students in grade 8 are given assessments in all 4 content areas. So I wanted you to keep that in mind. What you're about to see is how well our students performed on these summative assessments, and we use these scores to help determine appropriate promotion and retention decisions, as well as placement into certain programs like gifted or even remedial. The Georgia Milestones end of course tests count as 20% of the final grade for that course, and then students sit for the end of course assessment after they have completed the associated course. Now there are 4 achievement levels. Most often we refer to these as levels 1, 2, 3, or 4. A level 3 or 4 is what we aim for. So a beginning learner is a level 1. That means the student did not demonstrate mastery or proficiency in the knowledge and skills necessary at this grade level or content area for learning, and so they need substantial support. Developing learners are level 2, and they have demonstrated partial proficiency in the knowledge and skills. They actually are considered to have passed the assessment, but at the lowest level, and additional support is needed for these students as well. Proficient learners are level 3. That means they demonstrated proficiency in the knowledge and skills necessary for that grade level and content area. And then distinguished are our top performers. They are level 4, and they are very well prepared for the next grade level or either for their college and career readiness. So we're going to start with 3rd grade, and remember, students in 3rd grade are given the ELA and math assessments, and a developing score level 2 indicates the student passed the assessment, but they may need more support. In our chart, you can see the performance data from 2025 compared to the previous year, 2024. The green highlights indicate the scores and the achievement levels either stay the same or increase from the previous year. A red highlight alerts us that the scores decreased, and we use that for internal purposes only. So as you might notice several red highlights through the report, and that's okay, because that decrease needs us to point towards something for improvement, and that helps us as leaders as we look at how that subject area was taught, and look at the different types of learners that were assessed. It helps us target areas of growth and develop action steps. You'll also notice the Middle Georgia RESA column, so you can see what the average is for our RESA as well as what the state average is. So in third grade ELA, we scored above the RESA and the state average in all the achievement levels. So in our county, we break it down. We want to know more than just the developing and above students, which is your top level. So a 2, 3, or 4 means the student passed the assessment, but we always dig deeper. We want to know, how did our distinguished learners perform? How did those proficient learners perform? And so we always look at each of those achievement levels. We did highlight 2 areas in red to alert us that fell from the previous year. When we look at developing and above, we were number 2 in the Middle Georgia ranking, with Jones County scoring a little over 2 points above us. So we had 76% of our students in the developing and above, and then Jones County had 78.7. We always like to know, who beat us with scores. One area in particular that I would like to highlight, though, is the percentage of students reading on grade level and above. And you can actually see how far above the state we are and the RESA we are with reading readiness in third grade.
And just to interject a little bit right here, remember, when we compare from one year to the next, you're actually comparing different groups of kids from the next. And so we also watch how the same group of kids matriculate from 3rd, 4th, 5th, and so on. So you got a little bit better comparison there, but at the end of the day, how each cohort performs determines what our values are going to be when the CCRPI rankings come out, and that's where our accountability grades are captured at the state level.
And then again, these reds and greens are really for us to help us internally. Because we definitely want to beat the state and the RESA with the developing and above. That's really what we aim for. But here we want to look at all of our types of learners. So as far as math is concerned, Monroe County third grade math scores led the Middle Georgia RESA with 93.9% of our students achieving developing and above, and then Jones County was number 2 with 91.8, so you can see how close we were. When you look at the breakdown of each achievement level, we did have 2 areas in red that we're going to take a look at, and even though we did have those marks in red, we still scored well above the state and the RESA. In 4th grade ELA, we scored above the RESA and state averages in all achievement levels, except for the level 4 distinguished. Overall, we were number 2 in RESA for the percent of students scoring developing or higher. Jones County was number 1 with 80.3. Again, I'd like to highlight the students who are reading grade level and above, who are at 63.1, with the state at 56.9, and the RESA was 54.5. For 4th grade math, we were number 2, barely. Jones County beat us with 88.8, and we were 88.2% of our students scored developing and above. We beat or tied the Middle Georgia RESA average and state average in all areas displayed in this chart. Then we're going to look at 5th grade ELA. So remember, in 5th grade, students take 3 assessments: math, ELA, and science. So for the ELA, our 5th graders led the RESA with 87.8% of our students scoring developing or and above. And then Houston County was at 84.2. When we compare ourselves against our performance from 2024, the scores did decrease among those achievement levels. However, we scored above the RESA and state in every area, except for those distinguished learners. One area in particular that I would like to highlight would be the percentage of students reading on or above grade level, and you can see that number there. We're at 84.1. The state was at 71, and the RESA was at 54. Fifth grade math. Our students ranked first in our RESA with 85.6% of our students scoring a level 2, 3, or 4. Houston placed second with 81.3. We either tied or scored above the state and RESA average in every achievement level. In fifth grade science, again, we led the RESA with 81.9, and Jones was 75.4, so we had a wider gap there. And basically, we scored above the state and the RESA average in every achievement level. For sixth grade ELA, we led Middle Georgia RESA with 77.2% of our students scoring at a level 2, 3, or 4, and then Houston was 77.1. We barely got them, but we did. Now, the sixth grade scores this year decreased compared to last year, but we still scored above the RESA and the state averages in almost every achievement level. We gotta keep working on those level 4 learners and bumping those student scores up from a 3 to a 4. I would like to highlight again the percentage of students reading on or above grade level. You can see that that would be 71.5 for sixth graders, and our RESA was 54.5 and our state was 59.5. For sixth grade math, we led the RESA with the percentage of students scoring level 2, 3, or 4 with an 88.2%. Houston was an 80.2. And we beat all RESA and state averages in all achievement areas. In seventh grade ELA, you'll notice similar scores like sixth grade. Our district did score above RESA and state averages. Percentage for reading, grade level or above, was above the RESA and the state. Jones County was an 81.4 for developing and above learners, and we were a 79.4. We were second place for seventh grade ELA. Then for seventh grade math, our students ranked first with the RESA with 87.3 at developing and above, and Jones County was at 85.5. In eighth grade ELA, remember this is the grade level, they take 4 assessments. They take ELA, math, science, and social studies. Our students ranked number 2 in RESA, among the RESA districts with 84.4% of students achieving a level 2, 3, or 4, and Houston was number 1 at 84.5, just barely. Again, it's important to note the percentage of students reading on or above grade level. We did beat the RESA in the state. We were at 76.1, and then the state was at 68.2, similar with the RESA. So our, in those achievement levels, we surpassed the state and RESA averages with those achievement levels as well. In eighth grade math, Monroe was back on top with 92.4% of our students scoring developing and above. Houston was at 88.2. Then in eighth grade science, we led Middle Georgia RESA with an 85.6% of our students scoring a level 2, 3, or 4, and Jones was a 71.9. They were in second place.
That's the closest competitor. Look at that gap.
That's right.
That's
It's a
a real big gap there.
over a 13.7% difference.
Look at those 3s and 4s compared to the state average.
That's right. That's one thing that we wanted to point out. It's the level 4s. We were at 28.1%, and then the state was 8 and 7.
This is something like science.
That's right.
That critical thinking and application and hands-on learning. That's some of the STEM activities that we do in elementary definitely help to students move up to middle school. Eighth grade social studies, we were number 1, 92.7. Jones was at 87.3. Again, look at the level of distinguished learners, and these are our top learners, we were 25.1%, and then the state was 10.7%.
So let me interrupt Ms. Elder right here. One of the things that we've noticed a trend in our district in the areas of science and social studies is that our instructional leaders are continuing to focus our efforts still in social studies and science. And you can tell in other areas of our RESA and in other areas of our state, there's a focus on math and English language arts only, which is where a lot of our bread is buttered. But our students need to be ready to meet the mastery standards of science and social studies as well. And our middle school has done an exceptional job of doing that, and the teachers have done an exceptional job. So, you know, the state assessments are kind of grouped into two levels, elementary and middle, 3rd through 8th, and then at high school. And so we're kind of at the end of 3rd through 8th, and what we've seen is that ELA performances, not just in our district, but across the state, have gone down. And math performances, just not in our district, but across the state, have gone up. And the thing that you've seen us do is we've continued to lead in many of these areas and subcategories in our RESA. But relative to ourselves, you've seen us have a lot of red on this. And we are aiming to achieve that, you know, our student to teacher ratios are getting better this year with the additional 29 new staff that we have, and hoping to improve on those efforts for grades 3 through 8. So now we'll go into the high school areas.
Right, high school. So for American Lit, we ranked first with 84.5% of our students scoring a level 2, 3, or 4. Houston ranked second with a 79%. And the percentage of students reading honor on grade level or above was 77, with the state at 67 and the RESA at 61.9. We also outperformed in those achievement levels from the RESA and state averages.
And that is a 10th or 11th grade type course.
And then we have algebra concepts and connections. For algebra concepts and connections, we were at almost 90%, 89.7. So we did rank first there, and then Jones County was 83.3. It's important to note that we scored at least 20 points higher than the research state averages for level 3 students and levels 3 and 4 combined, which are our top learners.
So in our district and a lot of districts, these are advanced 8th graders, or they can also take this class at high school, most notably in the 9th grade.
And then biology. For our biology end of course assessment, which is generally given in 10th grade, we led the Middle Georgia RESA with an 84%, and then Jones was at 74.9. Again, we scored at least 20 points higher than the research state averages for level 3 students and levels 3 and 4 combined.
And you can see that trend still continuing even into high school with the focus on science and social studies, still remaining strong here in Monroe County.
And then our final high school assessment will be U.S. history, and we led the Middle Georgia RESA again in all achievement levels and scored well above RESA state averages. Noting again the level 3s and 4 combined. We ranked first with 84.8%, and Jones was second, 74.4.
A lot of times you miss some of your top performers in U.S. history because they take the AP U.S. history exam and they do not double up on exams there. And so, now that happens in every district, so I'm not whining and complaining here, but I will say that our top performers, you know, rarely ever take the end of course exam for U.S. history. And that's an 11th grade course. Biology is typically a 10th grade course.
So what now what? You know, what are our next steps? So we have these scores. We've actually had the scores since the students took the test back in the spring, but as far as being able to release our data, what do we do with it? So now the schools can really examine the achievement level data that I presented and determine root causes for performances. Schools can create action steps to address improvement areas to be documented in their continuous improvement plan. We do the same thing at the district level. We can definitely support teachers with any necessary professional development. And as they create their grade level plans or their individual plans, we will continue to utilize the data teams process that we've had in place for over 10 years in our district. Just to make sure that we are reviewing student performance data throughout the year. We just don't wait to the end of the year when we receive the scores. So as we're looking at unit assessments, how are we adjusting practices for our students along the way? We also can consider additional resources to support practices and evaluate staffing. Schedule periodic focus walks and Elliott performance reviews. We do that every year. Just to monitor practices and our areas of focus, and then provide any professional development to our staff. So if you were keeping track or taking notes, our school system ranked first among Middle Georgia school districts in 14 out of 19 tested subjects, and ranked second in 5 out of 19. So we were at either first or second in all of the subject areas that were tested. And we want to make sure that we recognize our teachers and our support staff and our administrators for their dedication to our students, for ensuring that our students are successful each day in the classroom. We do like to brag about how well our students perform, and they definitely couldn't do it without our great instructional staff. So we're very proud of our students and how well they performed this year, but we're going to keep plugging along and making improvements along the way.
Any questions for Ms. Elder?
Thank you very much.
Well, we will start to go in the order that we have the links listed there. And so next up would be Hubbard Elementary. And so I will have Dr. McCord come up, and they will give the report, the annual report for Hubbard Elementary.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'd like to begin with reviewing our mission statement for Hubbard. Samuel E. Hubbard Elementary School will provide all learners with opportunities to acquire the knowledge, skills, and experiences necessary to build meaningful and productive lives in a global society. And our vision statement is we will inspire lifelong problem solving and academic excellence by engaging students to real-life STEM activities. So moving on to our student demographics. We currently have an enrollment of 765 students, up 20 from the end of last school year. You can see that our greatest population is 3rd and 4th grade, with around 124, 122 students. Student gender, our population consists of about 53% male and 47% female. Our population ethnicity, we're about 64.4% Caucasian and 26.1% African American. And looking at the instructional supports that we have in place for our students, we have about 35% of our population that receives EIP services, which is intervention small group support from our EIP teachers. We have 19% of our population that receives gifted services, and we are very proud of that number. And as you can see, we have finally surpassed our special education population, so that is great. Now moving on to our staff demographics. And looking at our certified staff, years of experience, we have about 66% of our certified staff, and that's 66 certified teachers and administrators who have more than 11 years of experience. And even with the 11, that's hovering around the 14 and 15-year mark. Staff highest degree earned, and again, this is with our certified staff. You can see that 72% of our certified staff have a master's degree or higher. Our certified staff with endorsements, the biggest here is reading endorsement. We have right at 40% who are reading endorsed, and then we have about 25% that have teacher leader. So they've either gone through the Aspiring Leader program or another approved program. Moving on to some of our grant winners, we had 2 last year. The first one being Ms. Heather Smith, who received a $919 grant from Bright Ideas. and also Miss Sally Spear, who received $974. Some of the school events and competitions from the year. We have our annual Donuts with Dad, which is a huge event. Last year it was so large that we had to break it up into 2 different groups, and you can see it was standing room only. We also had 2 millionaire readers in the first month of school. Actually, it was like within the first 2 to 3 weeks of school last year, and we celebrated them with lunch at Chick-fil-A, and that was a surprise for them. We had Best Reader Day and observance of Georgia Reads Day. This is our principal student focus group. We met 4 times during the school year, and on this day we also met with our our school council. This is us receiving our 2 banners and 3 ribbons for having high achievement in 5th grade ELA and also 4th grade math and 5th grade math. Our 4th and 5th grade students put on a musical each year. So this past year it was Winnie the Pooh. And just a couple of events from this school year. This is just a picture from Open House, which was a huge success. We had about 84% of our students and families to show up. On first day of school, our specials team kind of organized our PBIS kickoff, and we had huge lemonade stand, so the kids and staff enjoyed that. And these are some pictures just from the first day of school. School competitions from last school year. Picture of our Techno Tigers, which is our robotics team. First time that we ever made it to the state competition, so we were very excited for them and our coaches. This is our Science Olympiad team from the district tournament. Our tone team, we had 1 student who placed first for his book review blog. These are our 2 Young Georgia Authors competition winners. One placed 2nd place in 2nd grade category, and the other one placed first in 1st grade category. Business partners and volunteers. This past year we had over 89 business community partners. These were just a few of the ones who actually helped us with our Teacher Appreciation Week events. We had over 290 volunteer hours, and this picture is from our end of the year volunteer celebration. Now, moving on to our milestones data. For 3rd grade, you can see for the past 4 years, we've been very consistent. We were actually at 85% again this year for English language arts. We dropped a little bit with our percentage of students reading on or above grade level, but keep in mind this was a different group of students. And then in math, we stayed consistent as well, with 97% of those students scoring at level 2 or higher. For 4th grade, we dropped a little bit in English language arts, as well as the percentage of students reading on or above grade level. And in math, we stayed pretty consistent, being at 91% of our students scoring at level 2 or higher. And last, with 5th grade, we had 91% of our students to score at level 2 or higher for English language arts. We increased with the percentage of students reading on or above grade level. For math, we had 90% at level 2 or higher, and at 86% we remained at, in science we remained at 86%, scoring at level 2 or higher. Just a few of our milestones highlights. For grades 3rd through 5th, we had 97% of our 3rd graders score at developing or higher. 94% of our 3rd grade students with disabilities scored at developing or higher. 95% of our 3rd grade economically disadvantaged students scored at developing or higher on the math milestones. 61% of our 4th grade students scored at proficient or higher on math. 92% of our 5th graders scored at developing or higher on ELA. 91% of our students are reading on or above grade level, so they have a Lexile of 830 or higher. We had one of our 5th grade students, Ava Holloway, who scored a perfect score on the science milestones. And then 61% of our fifth grade students scored a proficient or higher on science. Our areas of focus for this school year. First one is always safety. We participate in monthly drills. So we make sure that all of our staff members are engaged in regular safety training sessions. We have implemented a communication strategy to ensure all stakeholders remain informed about school safety measures. Implementing controlled access to our school premises. And of course, we are the only building in the district that has interior and exterior doors to our classrooms. So we have to make sure that we are very safe when it comes to that, making sure those doors remain locked at all times. Our second focus is student achievement, increasing the percentage of students reading on or above grade level, increasing the percentage of students achieving math whiz kids, continuing the implementation of 6+1 traits of writing in all grade levels. And then of course the last one is our STEM recertification, which we hope to have by the end of this school year. So we're just finalizing our year-long performance-based learning projects, implementing engineering design briefs throughout the year. We have collaborated with the College and Career Academy, so we are participating in their joint advisory committee meetings throughout the year, finalizing our artifacts for our final artifacts review in the spring, and then scheduling our recertification visit. Are there any questions?
That's good.
So thank you, Dr. McCord. A lot of you may not realize, but Dr. McCord is now our most tenured principal that we have in the district now. And she's in her 5th year at the helm of Hubbard Elementary. And Dr. McCord, thank you for your instructional focus that you have out there, especially all the efforts that you've done in the STEM certification and recertification process. And we're very proud of you and your team out there.
Thank you, and I'd just like to recognize Ms. Brown and Mr. Smith, who were here, the 2 assistant principals, and they are amazing.
Y'all gotta stand up, let everybody see you. There they are. Thank y'all. All right, so next up we'll have T.G. Scott, and we have one of our first-year principals, Mr. DeMarcus Taylor. So he is actually going to do a report that a lot of principals have had the opportunity to do. He's going to report out for a year in which he was not actually the principal, but he is now, and so we look forward to his leadership continuing there at T.G. Scott. So Mr. Taylor, we'll turn it over to you at this time.
Thank you, Dr. Finch. Good evening, everybody. I want to take a second, and I want to take a second and say thank you for allowing me the opportunity to get up here for just a second and brag about the Bears Den. One thing I wanted to go through first is our school mission and vision statement, something that we incorporate in everything we do at T.G. Scott. Our school mission is that we will create lifelong learners who are responsible, respectful, and safe. And our school vision is that we will provide opportunities, excellent opportunities, for students to be successful in their future. Starting with some student demographic data from last year, as you can see, we had our highest population was in 5th grade last year with 148 students, which gave us around 827 for an enrollment last year for total enrollment. We also have 2 specialized programs at T.G. Scott, our integrated learning class and our STEPS classroom, which stands for Students Taking Every Path Towards Success. Those 2 particular classrooms serve students and who need social and emotional behavioral support each day. And then at the bottom, you can see the percentages of our student services that we provide. Our EIP population was at about 23%, SPED population at 17%, gifted population at 19%, and then we're also the ESOL hub for the county, and we serve students from all of 3 of the elementary schools. Here's some more of our student demographic data. As you can see with student gender, we were almost half and half right there with our males at 50.1% and then females at 49.9%. Ethnicity, we have 71.5% of our population Caucasian, and then about 16% African American, and then it trickles down from there. Faculty and staff demographics. At the top here in the left corner, you can see the years of service of our staff. We wanted to note that the bulk of our staff have 11 years or greater. We did have several new staff members come in this year with less than 11 years, but the bulk of our staff are 11 years, have 11 years of experience or higher. And then the bottom right corner, the highest degrees completed, 47% with a master's degree, specialists at 36.4%, and then we do have a couple of staff members who are working on their doctoral degree as we speak. These are our endorsements that our faculty currently have. As you can see, we got about 40% of our staff who are gifted and endorsed. We also have about 19% who are teacher leader. We have some ESOL at 12%. We also have staff at 15% with reading. And then we also have some staff members that have dyslexia and math endorsements as well. So pretty well-rounded list of endorsements with all of our staff. This past school year, we had about 105 staff members that were certified and classified. Each year, we try to implement a theme at TG Scott to get the year going. Last year, our theme was Let's Grow Together. So we tried to incorporate that in everything we did, from clubs to field days to parent workshops. So we try to incorporate that to make it more fun for the kids and the staff. We had several teachers last year who won grants. Miss Ashton Watts and Miss Kimberly Driscoll won $1,000 grants from Bright Ideas. Miss Shannon Durden won a $1,000 grant from Robbins Financial Credit Union. Miss Nancy Haskins won a grant with a value of about $3,000 to the Atlanta Aquarium, which provided free admission for all second grade students to go on a field trip to the aquarium. Ms. Nikki Renfro, our media specialist, she won a grant in the amount of $850. It was the Mathical Collection Development Award. Miss Misty Tunn, our instructional coach, she had a $1,500 grant, teacher grant for innovation that she used to purchase phonics power packs to help promote and support the science of reading and phonics instruction. And then Ms. Lydia Marino also won a Bright Ideas grant for $1,500. Some of our school competitions, our Science Olympiad team were region champs at the region competition this past school year, and they also qualified to participate at the state level and competed at the state level, which was the first time in TG Scott history that took place. Our robotics team always participates in the district competitions each year, and they also participated at the regional level. They didn't place this time, but they're working hard. We had 2 students who placed at the Tome Con. Burke Slocum on the left here, he placed 3rd in book print, and Max Whitehead on the right placed 3rd in book review. Some of our events during the year, our math and science night, our family curriculum nights are usually a big hit each year. We usually have over about 600 in attendance each year that come to those events. Last year was the first time our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders and then a lot of the other schools in the district as well participated in a Making Mayhem hockey game. We were invited there back in March, and we took our 3rd through 5th grade students. They got to enjoy some STEM activities, watching the hockey game, and it was several of their first time seeing a hockey game, so it was pretty fun. There's several ways that we promote reading and literacy at TG Scott, through guest readers, through our activities for Read Across America Week. We also have several million-word readers that we recognize during the year. Ms. Renfro, our media specialist, also conducts the 40-book challenge with our students. And then our summer readers who complete their summer reading logs at the end of the year are rewarded with a sweet treat at the end of the year. TG Scott was recognized by the state school superintendent for our growth in 3rd grade ELA on the Georgia milestones from last school year. This Number Talks professional learning is something that we conduct with our staff each year, is where we bring in 2 of our own teachers who come in and lead this professional development, providing our teachers with a lot of different strategies that they can use to make sure our kids have good number sense as they move forward each year. We also promote math fact fluency through our Bear Facts, and Ms. Tunn always recognizes our students with a bear paw and a lanyard once they achieve that goal. Her nickname at TG Scott is the Lanyard Girl. We offer school clubs to our students 1st through 5th grade. We offer a wide variety of clubs that they can participate in to build relationships with other students and other teachers in the building other than their own. We have a wide variety of clubs that we offer, everything from chess, young men's club, gardening club, we had a cooking club, so we have a lot of different options that they can choose from, and we try to meet with those clubs at least once a month. We had about 60 or more business partners last year who partnered with us to help us do several things that We promoted in TG Scott last year with our curriculum nights, donating to staff meals, prizes for student rewards. So we're fortunate to have a wide variety of businesses who partner with us each year. We have an amazing volunteer base at TG Scott who come out to do any and everything. They do things, as you can see here, they're passing out candy at trunk or treats. We always have guest readers come in, and we have a big group each year that come and help us do our Christmas float. Our Georgia milestone accomplishments, starting with third grade. For this past school year, we had about 89% of our third graders who passed the ELA portion of the milestone with a level 2 or higher, and 89% that were reading on grade level. Math, third grade, we're very proud of them, 97% pass rate for third grade. In fourth grade ELA, we had 87% who passed at the level 2 or higher, and then we had 74% of those students who were reading on grade level. 90% of those fourth grade students passed the math section. In fifth grade, this past school year, we had about 93% of our students who passed the ELA portion. 89% of those students were reading on grade level. 94% of the students passed math, and then we had 85% of those students who passed the science assessment. These are our school areas of focus for this upcoming school year. Even though the school safety is strategic objective 2, when we say these in front of our staff, we always start with that one first, because just as everybody knows in the room, without safety, none of the rest of it can follow. So we always start with improving school safety there, and then under improving student achievement, we're still working on increasing that percentage of students who are reading on grade level and achieving math fact fluency. We're going to continue to maintain phonics instruction and daily practices in pre-K through second grade using the programs provided by the district, Hegarty and Sunday. We're going to continue looking at increasing the consistent use of rubrics, checklists, and exemplars with our students and teachers. We're also going to be looking at increasing our use of technology through consistent use of collaboration and creation practices. And then this year, this is something new to TG Scott, we're going to be implementing the data notebook process for teachers in grades 3 through 5 to help monitor student performance and provide immediate remediation of needed skills. Any questions?
Questions for Mr. Taylor?
That's great.
Of course, many of you remember Mr. Taylor was a former third grade teacher there on staff at TG Scott, and has been teacher of the year, both at the school and system level. He's developed his leadership profile while remaining at the same school as assistant principal, and we're excited about where we see his leadership taking TG Scott. So thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thank y'all for your time. I want to take a second to introduce my awesome assistant principals, Ms. Ashley Tarver and Ms. Daphne Blash.
Y'all gotta stand up, let everybody see you. There you go.
Thank you.
And then rounding out our elementary schools will be Dr. Christina Chapman. If you'll remember, she is the reigning principal of the year for our state elementary principal association. So again, congratulations on that accomplishment as well, and we'll turn the podium over to you.
Thank you. Well, good evening. I'm excited to present out on KB Sutton's school year for FY25. We had a great school year and we made a lot of growth. So we're excited about what this school year will offer as well. So the vision for KB Sutton is to provide a foundation of excellence for students to be successful in their future pursuits. And our mission is to develop high-achieving students who are respectful, responsible, and safe. Our student enrollment, when we rounded out FY25, was right at 755. Our fifth grade cohort was our largest, with third grade right behind them. For our special services, we have about 18% of our student population that participates in our special education program. We have 9% that are a part of our gifted program, 13% in our early intervention program, 6% who are part of the student support team, and also 6% that receive support through a 504. More demographics, our economically disadvantaged population is 74%. We have 69% of our students who are white, 23% African American, 4% Hispanic, and 4% multiracial. For our staff demographics, years of experience is kind of all over the place where our staff falls, but we have about 12.5% that have 5 years or less, and the most staff fall in the 6 to 10 year mark at 30%. For highest degree earned, we have 8 of our staff members who have a bachelor's degree, 20 with a master's degree, 32 with a specialist degree, and 2 with doctorate degrees. For teaching endorsements, we have 18 who are gifted endorsed, 4 ESOL, 5 math endorsed, 8 reading endorsements. We have 1 coaching endorsement, 1 online endorsement, 3 teacher leader endorsements, 1 NTSS endorsement, and 1 computer science endorsement. We had a lot of student highlights this year. Our students participated in the state science fair, and we had 2 of them to place 3rd place in the state, and that's Angelina Rosenker and Anna Han. And we also had a student who made a qualifying score to advance to state, and that was Lula Jones in 4th grade. We had many of our students who placed at the system level for the Young Georgia Authors Writing Competition, and several of those went on to compete at the RESA level, and we had 2 first place winners for RESA, and that was Barrett Davis in 3rd grade and Piper Stabley in 5th grade. Our spelling bee winners were Allison Johnson and Piper Stabley. We had a lot of our students who participated in the Tome Society, and we had winners in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place for that competition. The Monroe County Chamber of Commerce honored our students again this year with awards in K through 5th grade for the highest reading level and also the highest reading gain. So we were super excited that these students were able to receive those awards. We had 13 millionaire readers, and 1 of our students, Anila Smith, actually reached the 3 million word mark. So we were very happy about that. In our art contest for the Georgia City's Coloring and Art Contest, we had students place at every grade level for that contest as well. We do a lot of events throughout the year, and some of them are listed here. We have our Principal's Book of the Month, and every month the media specialist and myself, we read through a bunch of books and pick the just right book for the core value for that month. And each classroom gets a copy of it, and they get to either write a response or create a piece of art that kind of talks about what the book meant to them. So that's one of our favorite events that we do. We have a lot of school performances throughout the year for different grade levels, and we have monthly PBIS celebrations where students are rewarded for positive behavior. We have our Math Whiz Kids celebrations that highlight fact fluency mastery, and we have Read Across America Week, which is a favorite where we get really excited about reading and do a lot of silly stuff to help kids get excited about it as well. We have our Neatest Night celebrations, and that just helps out our custodians by looking for classrooms that are keeping their classrooms neat and picking up trash and being responsible in that way, and they receive a classroom award for that. We have our Sutton Silo Sprint, which is definitely a fan favorite, our honors days and our night honors each month. We have Career Day, we have our All Pro Dads Hangout, and our AR celebrations. We had 4 teachers who earned teaching endorsements this past school year. Ms. Shepherd earned her gifted endorsement, and Ms. Hall, Ms. Emily Williams, and Ms. Ray Williams all earned their math endorsement. We had 2 grants. Ms. Holly Easterling, our computer lab teacher, she secured a grant with the Connect Safely Safer Internet Day grant, and she was able to use the monies that she received from that to provide lessons for our students of how to be safe when they're using the internet. Brittany Fletcher, who is our school council president, she secured a grant for us through the Heart of America Foundation, and she was able to get us a book cart with over 100 books to help students meet their AR goals. For staff highlights, our teacher of the year was Ms. Holly Easterling. We're very proud of her. We had several school recognitions. One of them was the Georgia DOE John Hancock Cursive Writing Award, and we received a ribbon of proficiency stating that all of our 3rd graders are able to write their first and last names in cursive. We also received the recognition of a National Beta School of Merit. And one award that we're the most proud of is our School Bell Award. This award is given in the state of Georgia to no more than 10 schools, and we received this for our Character Counts program. And that just kind of embodies everything that we do in the building for our culture, climate, building leadership among students, our PBIS, our clubs, and our mentoring programs. So we were very excited to see that the climate of our school was able to receive an award. Community partners, we have about 68 community partners, and we wouldn't be able to do all those events I just showed you if it wasn't for them, so we're very grateful for their partnership with us. We have a lot of volunteers who help us out each year as well, and we have an annual celebration to thank them for their service in our schools, so this is a picture from that celebration. Here's a snapshot of our Georgia milestones data. So the green areas show significant areas of improvement from the previous year. So as you can see, we had some big gains in our third and fifth grade cohorts across the board in all subject areas. We did have some areas for improvement in our fourth grade cohort, and we've already put some interventions in place through our continuous improvement plan to make sure those students are ready to tackle fifth grade content. And some of those highlights are the percent of students in third grade ELA scoring developing or higher increased from 75% to 85%. Percent of students in third grade reading on or above grade level increased from 70 to 86%, so a 16 percentage point gain there, so we're super happy about that and proud of our students. Percent of students in third grade math scoring developing or higher increased from 84% to 92%. And percent of students in fifth grade ELA scoring developing or higher increased from 86% to 91%. Percent of fifth grade math scoring developing or higher increased from 82 to 92, so a 10% percentage point gain there. And the percent of students in fifth grade reading on or above grade level increased from 83% to 89%. So we had some big gains across the board there. And the percent of students in fifth grade science scoring developing or higher increased from 75 to 78. The percent of students in third through fifth grade reading on or above grade level increased from 69% to 77%. So that's showing that what we're doing in reading is really working. So we're happy about that. I'm very proud of our students. And we met targets on weighted percent of our economically disadvantaged students in third through fifth grade scoring developing or higher in both ELA and math. Okay, so for our areas of focus, we're keeping a lot of the same things that we've been doing for the last few years because we are seeing big gains, and so we want to continue that trajectory. School safety, of course, is always number one. We're going to continue to improve the writing process through evidence-based writing, improve small group reading instruction. We're going to improve phonemic awareness and improve phonics instruction, and improve students' understanding of number sense, and also continue our data teaming via the data notebook process with our third through fifth graders. That's it.
Any questions for Dr. Chapman?
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you could recognize your team members over there for me?
Oh, I'm sorry, and I would like to recognize, I'm so nervous, but I would like to recognize my assistant principal, Dr. Walker, and Mr. Alacia.
All right, next up, we have Chambers, and he will be presenting the annual report for the middle school.
Good evening again, everyone. It's an honor to be standing here and want to discuss something that we've implemented this year in Monroe County Middle School, and that's to be epic, okay? You may see that in the hallways. Once you come in, we have banners posted, and that means to be engaged, to be prepared, to inspire, and to connect, okay? And so that we mention this in everything we do, starting day one this year, so that our kids will be familiar with it, our staff, as well as us as administrators. So everyone is being held accountable for that motto, okay? Starting today with our mission for Monroe County Middle School, it is to provide a strong foundation that enables all students to achieve their maximum potential. Our vision is to be recognized as a world-leading middle school committed to excellence for all students. Monroe County Middle School is a great school, and I'm honored to be there. Student demographics.
Mr. Chambers, you have to advance the slide.
I'm so sorry. I'm just a talking and not, there you go.
Keep
Thank
on
you.
listening, keep on.
All right.
I'm running the top ones, you run that.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Thank you. Thank you. So moving into student level, grade level enrollment, at this time, we have 368 graders, 371 sixth graders. That was last year, I'm sorry. Then 396 seventh graders in the year 2025. For this year, for this enrollment year this year, we have 396 eighth graders, 433 sixth graders, and 363 seventh graders, giving us a total of 1,192 students. I will say that that number has changed drastically. We've dropped about 30 kids due to not enrolling, and so we are right now at 1,162, okay? So just keep that in mind. Doc, I'm gonna remember to hit this button for you, okay? Hey, to talk about enrollment by gender, at this time we have 574 females and 618 males, okay? So we have just a little bit more males than females at this time. Enrollment by ethnicity, we have a total of 68%, 70 at charter, 69% white, non-Hispanic, and at 20% black and non-Hispanic. We have 65 students at this time that are Hispanic. That gives us a percentage of 5%, and then 55 students multiracial at 4.6%. Staff demographics. And so, we have 15.2% males in staff gender and 84.8 males, 84.8% females at this time. User experience, in reference to certified and classified staff, the highest percentage is from 6 to 10 years. We are at 26.6%. The next level coming in is 3 to 5 years, 15.2%. We are getting a little bit younger at this time, and I see a lot of great things in the new hires that we have with this coming year. The highest degree earned at this time is 46.2% in reference to masters and 25.6% in reference to specialists. At this time, we have 17.9 bachelors, 3.8 associates, 2.6 doctorates, and 3.8 in reference to GED or higher. Staff endorsements. We have 43% gifted, 17% teacher leader, 15% curriculum instruction, and 12% reading. Grant and awards. Ms. Jenny Mitchell helped us be awarded 2 grants last year in reference to the Robbins Financial Credit Union granted. That stands for is used for benefit students in the FIP and contribute to an even more engaging and effective educational experience. We also received and was awarded the ARC Funds grant, which was a support students participating in Special Olympics across Monroe County schools, includes equipment for athletes, athlete travel to state games, and improvements to the track and field for the games hosted at Mayor Persons last year. Ms. Jenny Mitchell. So we also got recognized as a Stage Star Award last year, which was big, okay? We had 2 representatives from the state come in and actually sit with our team of our MTS team that's right here in this picture. Ms. Georgia Carr, Ms. Jenny Mitchell, Ms. Laura Nelson, who's here as an assistant principal. Our community. We also had our Valentine's dance, which was held in 2 different nights, 6th grade on Thursday night and 7th and 8th grade on that Friday night. We still have our spring fling, and then we have what we call our student incentive days, which we take our kids to Camp Paleo, students who receive no office referrals and have less than 9 unexcused absences, which was very fun. I had a chance to get out there as well. Student incentive days also allow students to go and attend pep rallies. They have to have no referrals for the month leading up to the event. And we had 3 last year. We're probably gonna work towards going back down to 2 this year. So, the MCMS competitions. We just rewarded our Robo Dogs and our Coding K9s, which I can say these kids are true professionals. I help interview some of these in reference to practice interviews, and I was so amazed at their knowledge of what they were doing and their business savvy to what they were doing. So great kids, you all had a chance to meet them earlier. The Coding K-9s were invited to compete in the prestigious WPI FLL Open Invitational in June. It was a national event, level competition hosted in Worcester, Massachusetts, and we were featured amongst the top teams around the world. And so you all approved that opportunity for our kids to go out and experience that, and we appreciate you all for doing that for us. School competitions. So we had junior beta state competitions, as you can see here, and then we were awarded bus safety poster contest, first place in the division, and 3 for the state, as Mr. Davis recognized us for earlier, and we appreciate that opportunity as well. MCMS Tone Team. The Tone Team scored first place in the state, Ms. Elizabeth Gould, and as well as third place in the state, Exie Ivy and Rebecca Gould. Exie Ivy also won spelling bee champion for the county last year. Athletics, football. You know, that person is known for football, and we do pretty good. We also had our 5th straight year playing for the league championship last year. We're planning on winning it this year, bringing it back. Softball, we had a team average of 0.368 batting average, which is pretty good in baseball and softball. And so we want to recognize our ladies. We actually have 2 teams this year, one being 6th grade by themselves and 7th and 8th. We have a lot of girls who want to give them an opportunity to participate and get better.
Team A just won a tournament this past weekend.
They just did. Came in first in the tournament, and I'm very proud of those young ladies. Got out of the car Monday morning with a smile on their face. Cheerleading, you know, cheerleading is what it is here in Monroe County, and we believe in it. Our girls believe in it, and they represent us very well. We had an undefeated season last year, and then we have 2 teams, a competition cheer and we have a spirit cheer. The spirit cheer cheers on Wednesdays, and they also participates in our pep rallies. But our competition cheer, they go on the weekend and travel and compete, and they're undefeated as of coming into this year. And we look to keep that standing moving into this year. Cross country, region champion for the 3rd consecutive year. Perfect record of the first place finishes at every meet, and the girls won the Upson League Invitational last year as well. Volleyball, we had an 8-2 record, league runner-up. We have the Mac Dogs, our wrestling team. We have 26 boys and 8 girls. The team competed in 11 matches and tournaments, and the team regional record was 8-1-1. 3rd at the league tournament in the teams of points, and we won the Mount DeSales Cavalier Clash. Basketball. We had a 5-8 record in basketball. Boys, girls were 7-7, but I can tell you these young folks really represent us well in every competition they had last year. I look forward to seeing them grow this year as well. Soccer, we're league runner-up, 11-1 for boys. For girls, 4th overall in the league and 75 record. The soccer is very intense in the spring. Tennis, 5-5 record, exceptionally strong wins against Stratford, Taylor County, and St. George. Track and field, region runner-up, girls region runner-up as well. 17 athletes qualified for the Middle Georgia School State Championship. Baseball, we had a 14-3 record, league runner-up. And then we're going to talk about some CTA highlights. Agriculture and FFA, horse judging, area reserve champions, 6th in the state. Dairy judging, area reserve champions, 10th in the state. Forestry, area champions, 9th in the state. Environmental natural resources, area champions, 9th in the state. We received a silver medal for the national chapter application, outstanding middle school chapter, area 3 as well. And Ms. Limpert does a good job with those kids as well. Planning on another great season. Fine arts highlights. Band, we had a Trinity Allen District 11 honor band. 10 students were selected by UGA to attend the Mid-Fest. That was a great success, led by our coach, and he did a great job taking those kids and keeping them safe as well as going and traveling to UGA. Look forward to seeing what that did for them in reference to their talents moving into this year. Chorus, 9 students selected for District 11 Honor Corps. 6 students selected for 2025 GMEA All-State Chorus. Theater, We had a lot of shows, a recipe of me, and where in the world is Princess Poppy shows in the fall. The Newsies Junior added a third show day due to the popularity, so theater is big in Monroe County. Spring showcase for the 6th and 7th grade students for the first time, and then 8th grade students were inducted into the MP chapter of the International Thespian Society. It's great shows. We have 70 business partners. We grew from last year, and we plan on growing again this year. It's great to have businesses call your school and want to be a part of your school. And so this is the community that we're serving. They actively want to be involved in school, and that's always a great sign for great success in school systems. Volunteers, we have 277 volunteers, and when I tell you they feed us good, they feed us good. But we have a lot of volunteers, and they're very active in our school, and we want to keep it that way. For the Georgia milestones, we went down to ELA a little bit, and we're already working towards improving that. We stayed the same in math and science at 89% in math and 86% in science. We went up in social studies at 93%, and we stayed the same but stayed great in algebra, which is at 100%. Grade level data, as you can see, we broke down ELA for grade levels. We dropped from 84% to 77%, 86% to 79%, and from 91% to 86%. I plan to make those and help the Cisco scores go up in the next coming year. I'm gonna put that out there right now. Math, 6th grade, we went up from 85% to 88%. 7th grade, we went down from 88%, dropped 1 point to 87%. And for 8th grade, we stayed the same at 94%, and in algebra, we stayed the same at 100%. 8th grade science, we stayed the same at 86%, and in 8th grade social studies, we went up 2 points at 93%. Areas of focus and action steps, we want to implement spring FY26 standards during the blitz. We want to implement distinct interventions in sports to elevate ELA and math performance in the 6th and 7th grade, and within the 7th grade SPED subgroup in ELA. We also want to continue to focus on our lexile level growth through 6th and 8th grades and math fact fluency 6th grade. We also want to work collaboratively to define the revised instructional units, tests, academic calendars, and assessments. We also want to provide training to our new teachers in the use of the SLDS to ensure all teachers continuously monitor and adjust instructions accordingly through the class data, common assessment, data, and data notebooks. And overall, we want to make sure we maintain our safety in our schools. Thank you all for having us.
Any questions for Mr. Chambers?
Mr. Chambers, I figured, I knew you'd probably be a good fit for the school system, but you just confirmed it when you used the word wrestling.
Yes, sir. That's that old Wilkinson County in me, man. That's that country boy in me. I would also like to recognize my administrators. They're new to the system, and they've done great for us, y'all. For the first 7 days, they've been great. They have been baptized for real. Dr. Sarah Williams and Ms. Laura Nelson. Thank y'all.
So, Mr. Chambers, we really appreciate your leadership, thankful for it, and we have 2 first-year assistant principals with Dr. Williams and Ms. Nelson, and we're excited about where their leadership is also going to take the middle school. And remember, our middle school is probably our at most, if not over, very much so capacity for students, and probably had our most challenging student-to-teacher ratio last year as well. So we're looking for big improvements from there. And last but not least, we will call Ms. Sharonda Epps to the podium. And again, she's kind of like Mr. Taylor. She is a promoted assistant principal to principal there at Mary Parsons. She's no stranger to Monroe County Schools, has been in our school system over 22 years. She is also a former system teacher of the year here in Monroe County from her days at the middle school, and so she's been an administrator in both the middle school and the high school, has been a coach for us, and we're excited to see where her first year of leadership in the principal role is going to take the high school. So we'll turn it over to you, Ms. Epps.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be in front of you guys, talking about all of the great things that our staff and students have done in the past and what we're going to be doing this year in the future. So I kind of like to be different, so I'm going to start off introducing my staff. So we have Mr. Jamarcus Johnson. I believe he is right up here in the front. He is one of our assistant principals at the main campus. We have Miss Christy Johnston joining us from the board office at Annex. She is going to be our assistant principal over curriculum and instruction. We have Mr. Robert Lindsay, who is our assistant principal at MCAC, and he's also the athletic director for Perry Persons. We have Miss Susan Little, who is joining us in the administrative role of AP of our College and Career Academy, as well as over CTAE. And then we have Mr. Thomas Yon. He is our assistant principal for the freshman campus. So we just have a really jam-up, really great team, and it's great to be a part of this team.
So if you remember, we changed the model of the Achievement Center, moving from a principalship to assistant principal, so that they're all Mary Persons Monroe County Middle School students anyway, and so they operate up under the assistant principal of Robert Lindsay, and they all report to Ms. Epps as being the principal at Mary Persons.
This is our yearly staff picture. We decided to do it a little different this year. We normally take it in the gym, but it was being resurfaced. So we decided, why not try out the new visitor side of our new field, in the field. And so this is our staff for the 2025-2026 school year. Our first day of school was off to a really great start. Our seniors usually arrive pretty early to take their senior pictures in the parking lot, so we've got a couple of those that they shared with us. And our SRO was really excited to report that she was able to get the traffic down by 10 minutes prior to 8 o'clock. So she was really excited about that. We've never really done that before, so it was really exciting. So here are some MCAC highlights from last year. We have the Fit to Achieve that Mr. Lindsay has continued. Something that was put into place several years ago, and he's kind of reinstated that and put that back, and it was a really big success and a good fundraiser. We also have the Valentine's Parents Dinner that all of our students at MCAC kind of participated in, and another one was the Malik Herring Christmas giveaway. So these are just some highlights from MCAC. Well, obviously, most notably, we have added the new freshman campus and the College and Career Academy. We are really excited about this addition. Our students and staff in Freshman Academy are really enjoying the new flexible seating. They're enjoying the windows, and they're enjoying all of the new facilities. That's one of the biggest things that our staff and students have reported back to us on things that they really like in the new Freshman Academy. As far as the College and Career Academy, we've added several new pathways. We've added logistics, sports medicine, and welding, as well as a lot of dual enrollment face-to-face courses. And the TCC for healthcare is now taught by an MP instructor. So we kind of brought that back from Central Georgia Tech, and she's actually certified through Central Georgia Tech to lead that class, and that's Ms. Claire Jeffrey. So we're really excited about that. As well as our welding instructor is also a TCC certified instructor that is an MP teacher. So we're really excited about the opportunities that the College and Career Academy is going to offer for our students. So our faculty details for this year, we have 136 total staff, plus an additional 12 staff at MCAC. We have 95 certified staff, and then 6 certified staff at MCAC, and then we have 41 non-certified staff at the main campus and freshman campus in CCA, and then we have 6 non-certified staff at MCAC. Our current breakdown is we currently obviously have a lot more females than male, and then a breakdown of our ethnicities, excuse me. We have 107 white, 21 African American, 5 Hispanic, and then 3 that fit into other categories. For our certified staff details, we have 95 certified staff members. Of those, 88 are teachers. And if you can look at our years of experience, we have a lot of new teachers this year, but we're really excited because they come in with a lot of excitement for their subject area, and they are off to an amazing start. So we're really excited to see our new staff. As far as the rest of our staff, we have 12 with 6 to 10 years. We have 18 with 11 to 15. We have 17 with 16 to 20. We have 16 with 21 to 25, and then we have 5 that are kind of rounding out with 26 to 30 plus years. 68 of our 88 staff members have master's degrees or higher, and 46 of our staff members, our certified staff members, have endorsements of some sort. For our students, We currently have, for our class of 2029, our ninth graders, we have 336 at MPHS and then 10 at MCAC. For our class of 2028, we have 381 and 11 at MCAC. For our class of 2027, we have 301 and 23 at MCAC. And then for our class of 2026, we have 291 and 34 students for our senior year this year at MCAC. That total is 1,385 students, but I have, since we have created this, because whenever you're the top, in the top 6% of districts in the nation, students want to come here, so we've actually added some to this in the last few days. So we're excited about that. All right, so our demographics and our student details at MCAC, we have 32% of our students that attend that are credit recovery, which are students who have just fallen behind academically and they're trying to get their credits back up. We have 50% who are punitive. That is when they're placed due to a disciplinary tribunal. We have 1% atypical students. That's just a student who chooses to be in a smaller and more structured environment. And then we have 11% of our student population at MCAC fitting in with the flexible learning program, which is an atypical student, a 504, an IEP student with some kind of exceptionality, and they have exhausted kind of all of the interventions available at MPHS, so they're served in a smaller setting there. Our student demographics, we have more males than female. We have 52% male, 48% female. We have 67% white, 23.3% African American, 0.04% Hispanic, and 0.05% in another category. 11% of our student population is classified as special education, and then we have 18% of our student population that is classified as gifted. Our graduation rate, currently, as of now, we are on trajectory to be at 94% of students graduating, and I would like to note that 23 of our 24 MCAC students last year, so that's 96% of them graduated last year, so we're really excited about our graduation rate. So in our EOC milestones data, I know that Ms. Elder kind of went and linked into these areas, but we actually increased in 2 of the 3 areas, in American Lit and U.S. History. I would kind of like to note that that's a little misleading because last year algebra was more of a baseline. The year prior was the first year of implementation for this new algebra EOC, so we actually had 90% or higher in that area, so that's a pretty good start for a baseline. In biology, our face-to-face was at 90%. We were just lower, just about 1.5% lower than we were the prior year. So we're still really excited about those scores. So this is just a breakdown. We like to break down kind of our all area, and then we like to look at what students are doing in a face-to-face environment. So it kind of takes out anybody that's learning through virtual learning or any kind of alternative learning environment, and just kind of more in a face-to-face traditional. So out of the 89.7% of our students that met or they met or exceeded on the EOC, we had 96.1% of those students that were developing or higher. For biology, we had 89.5% developing or higher. American Lit was 89.9%, and then U.S. History was 91.1%. So you can see an increase in several areas there in the face-to-face categories. All right, so our data for 2s, 3s, and 4s. I really want to kind of, since we just went over the 2s, 3s, and 4s, I would like to look at our proficient or above, so that would be our level 3 or 4. So for Algebra 1, we had 68%, Biology was 67%, and American Lit was 56%, and U.S. History was 57.6%. So you can see in several of those areas we stayed relatively the same as the year prior, but one of our focuses is kind of really to raise those areas of 3s and 4s. This is our advanced placement data. I would like to note that 7 out of 10 of these areas, they all improved from the year prior. And in the areas that we did not improve, a couple of those were just due to the fact that we had a lower number of students testing this year, so it kind of skewed the data a little bit from the year prior. But we're really proud of the 7 of 10 areas, and if you will look, for 2 years in a row, economics has scored a 3 or higher at 100% on these AP exams for the last 2 years. And then we also had 100% of our US history score a 3 or higher on the AP exam. So, as well as our AP biology for the second year in a row. So we had some really great AP data this year. So our areas of focus for 24-25 are, number one, again, I think you've heard this kind of across the board, that we're going to continue to promote the safety and health of all faculty, staff, and students. We're going to improve our milestone scores from 2s to 3s and 3s to 4s. This is just continues to be one of our areas of focus because we want to continue to focus on these areas of academics and continue to promote that growth. We're going to implement a plan to improve biology scores. We've already kind of started putting this into place last year with things like storylines, as well as the Big 20. And we've seen some improvement in the last 2 years with the use of these, so we're going to continue kind of honing in on those areas to help improve biology scores. We're going to create a baseline. Our American Lit, as you know, the EOC is no longer going to be held in American Lit. It's going to be moving to the 10th grade and a new course that's called Lit and Composition, Literature and Composition 2. So that we're going to be able to create a baseline this year and then look at areas for improvement and moving forward. We're also going to continue on effective practices in teaching and learning, such as effective co-teach strategies, social emotional learning, and well-being for our students and staff. We're going to be looking into promoting a new student-led youth violence prevention club, as well as kind of effectively using champ block learning time to remediate and extend students to help us improve Area 2. We have a lot of business partners that we're really thankful for. They provide a lot of different opportunities for our students and extracurriculars and athletics, and so we're very thankful to all of them. Kind of in an effort to be a little brief, we have kind of put our highlights on one succinct area because we do have a lot of things to share. But just kind of a couple of things to note is that 21 of 24 of our sports were able to qualify to progress to state playoff levels. And we also scored in 9th in the 3A Directors Cup out of 63 teams last year. So those are some of the major highlights. But I kind of linked that there for you guys to look through. And as always, our focus remains in providing a quality educational experience for our students both in and out of the classroom, and the scores will take care of themselves. So promoting all areas of student well-being and growth, and then we won't have to worry about the scores because those will take care of themselves. Students that are happy to come to school are going to be more apt to perform well at school. Does anyone have any questions?
Excellent. Looking forward to some good things.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Epps. Appreciate everything that you helped lead there in the high school. Want to remind our board members that annual reports is one of our 4 big items that we do, along with continuous improvement plans, balanced scorecards, data rooms, like we're in a data room right now, as you can tell. But each school has a data room, and then each school gives an annual report. And so those are kind of the 4 cornerstones on how we build continuous improvement here and what we try to accomplish here in Monroe County Schools. And so it's a huge effort that we try to go to great lengths to accomplish there. And I just want to thank the leadership of our school buildings, especially our principals and their assistant principals, as they help lead that effort. So, Mr. Chairman.
All righty.
Excited.
Thank you very much. I don't think we have any public participation, and we're going to get to the financial report. But I would say to our principals and staff, thank you very much, and the presentations were very good. And if you would like to leave the boardroom, that's fine. You're more than welcome to, because we got a lot more to get to. But if you want to stay too, I'm fine with that, but I won't hold it against you. So if y'all need to go ahead and go, y'all had a full day of work, so go right ahead. They have been working hard all day and been at school and got a lot done, so and get home to their families. Mr. Chris, please.
one of the months that is kinda, it looks light. There's not a whole lot going on paper, but there's a lot going on in the business office. We're closing out the year, starting a new year, so there's just a lot going on right now. The first page is our general fund, and I will remind you that our July salaries are accrued back to June for the previous year, because all of the money for teachers and things like that are earned in the previous fiscal year. So they get, as they're paid out, they get actually recorded backwards into the previous year. So that's why the expense numbers here look kind of small.
We don't have those pages this time, so can you put them on the big screen rather than just on the top screen? Mr. Johnson, trying to challenge us, get Mr. Reed knows the pages.
There we go.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Trying to make it small again. But as I was saying, our expense numbers are fairly small, and that's because most of that gets moved back to the previous fiscal year. Some of the numbers percentage-wise look kind of high for 1 month. But like I said, at the beginning of a school year, we have a lot of renewals, a lot of subscriptions, software, license agreements, a lot of things that we only pay once a year, and we pay them mostly in July. So a lot of these things that you might see in general admin or business functions, that's because we pay those items just once a year, so they hit in July. If you compare it to the previous year, you know, it's fairly much in line. The next page is our debt service. We have 2 payments that we make every year out of our debt service. One is in August, or it's due in August. We usually pay it in July, and then we have another one in January that we pay in December. This is a bond premium and interest payment that we have to make. And this one is our smaller premium amount. The principal amount, excuse me. The next one will be in the neighborhood of $6 million, the one that we have to make that it will be due in January. So I only show these twice a year. And then the last one that I have this month is our capital projects. We had a pretty good month with SPLOST receipts at $691,000. That's a little bit better than our average. But you can also see in that $1 million number there that we transfer that money out to our debt service so we can make that big bond payment. And again, the expense numbers, a lot of the things that we pay in July are for activities in June, so they get accrued back to June. I did not have our most of our federal grants, other than school nutrition, have not been approved by the state board yet. So we don't have all the final numbers, but we will get those, and like I say, every month, we spend the money first and then get reimbursed. That's all I have. Is there any questions?
Thank you, Chris.
All right,
Thank you, sir.
Next, we have facilities and grants with Mr. Flanders.
Good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. Quite a lengthy report for you tonight, but it's mostly really good news, so I'm really excited about that. Start off with the College and Career Academy and Freshman Campus. That project is complete. We've had a meeting last week with Paris to go over some final items to be addressed. I'm happy to report initially it was thought the building would cost $25 million, but it came in at 22.8, which is under budget, so we're very excited about that. Football field house and stadium renovations. The stadium is for the most part complete at this point. The steel work on the field house is nearing completion, and the block walls have started to go up. You've been able to see that on the second floor. Looks like the first floor from this end, on the other end is actually the second floor. They're gonna pour the concrete on the first floor. It was supposed to take place last night, but it's actually gonna take place on Thursday. The rain kind of pushed that back 2 days. But once that takes place, you'll start to see the block walls going up on the first floor as well, so we're very excited about that. TG Scott driveway improvements. Buston Construction has begun delivering heavy equipment and pipe to the job site, so we're very excited about seeing that project take off. It's slated to be finished before the end of the year, but that's going to be weather dependent. Rains all the time, it's going to be harder to go in and get some of that work done. But we are excited to have progress on that. The Hubbard Elementary School modifications this summer, the roof, the parking lot, the gutter installation, drainage improvements, all of that has been completed. Today we got the closeout documents on that project from Parish, so we're very excited about that. And that project came in slightly under budget as well, so we're moving along fairly lean in these construction projects. I'm going to skip the next one temporarily, but the Hubbard roof HVAC project for next summer, getting those units off of that roof, getting them replaced. We applied this week. We submitted an application for $946,000 from the state to help fund that project. It should come in. Pricing estimates have come in from the architect, $2.3 million on that project, but we'll have $1 million of that paid for by the state. And according to Energy Audit, we'll receive about $110,000 a year in energy savings on that project per year, which means that very quickly we're going to be able to recoup the money that we invested in that project, and the school will be a lot better off for it. The Safer Schools Cybersecurity Grant, that grant is still, we just entered year 2, so there's no updates on that, but there'll be updates as this year progresses. And then finally, I want to talk about the Newberry Persons High School. Site studies on the project have been completed by Terracon to make sure we get site approval from the state. We're excited about that. Surveying of the property is underway, as well as we held an intergovernmental meeting with the Department of Transportation to look at traffic proposals for that area last week, along with the city leaders and county leaders. And we also have a concept drawing from SP Design that was submitted that we'd like to show you tonight as part of that project, and we're pretty excited. So,
and before we click play on that, remember in an email I sent the board members on Friday that we have some traffic concept maps that are in the conference room that are just in paper format right now. And so you can come by and review those at your leisure. And that was part of the meeting that we had with the Georgia Department of Transportation, city and county leaders. So we don't want anything going inside the city, the county, and especially the Department of Transportation and Monroe County Schools, where we all don't know what everybody's projects are. And so whether you're aware of this or not, Georgia Department of Transportation has a project in the queue for the intersection there of Highway 18 and Highway 41. A lot of the traffic that patterns they're seeing now is southbound traffic is taking a left on Highway 18, Harold Clark Parkway, and northbound traffic is taking a right. And so we knew that was gonna happen with the addition of the QT there and the Chick-fil-A there, but they're gonna have to build and widen that road so that southbound traffic can continue to move southbound despite traffic wanting to turn left, and northbound traffic continuing to move northbound, even though a lot of our traffic goers are turning right there. And at the same time, we have a neighborhood that is there on Newton Drive over there that is having increasingly difficult time of getting out of their neighborhood, especially in the morning and at afternoon dismissal. So, but what Mr. Flanders is about to show here, and I will also get it for our audience to be able to see as well, is a concept flyby for the new Mary Persons High School that was provided to us by our partners at SP Design. And so again, this is a concept. Obviously, there are a lot more devil in the details here, but we will begin this as we kind of move along here. And so again, there are about 75 acres of land that is owned by the Board of Education currently behind Mary Persons High School, of which about 54 of it is buildable. And so you will see that the design now currently is to have a 2-story structure that has an atrium entrance there where the lobby is, and on the right you'll see a lot of the upstairs and downstairs classrooms. So that would be the front of the building there.
You also notice a lot of similarities in the architecture to some of the other projects with the, very similar to the interest of the Fine Arts Center, and then the gym is very similar to the gym design on the new freshman campus. So see a lot of those elements there, and when you come around the corner, you'll actually be able to see the current freshman campus in the background as well.
Backside, you'll see kind of a courtyard presence there, and with school nutrition being around there, so the cafeteria will be in that same area. Yeah, right in there. And then there's stairwells on both sides of all the hallways there, and a big stairwell in the middle as you come into the campus area there in the atrium part where the lobby is. And it's not captured on this flyby, but again, the only athletic facilities that we're seeing right now is an 8-lane track being put there along with the footprint of everything else, as well as a cross-country trail. And so currently right now, Mary Persons and Monroe County Middle School cannot host track events because we have a 6-lane track. And when we do host our cross-country events, we have to host them out on the property owned by the county at the rec department. And so we would look to bring being able to host track events and cross-country events that we build there. And then being able to couple that with kind of the footprint that we have on those documents that are in the conference room on that back table that you can review. You can kind of see how it sits relative to the current school and where it would be as far as trying to bring in students and community members from the Highway 41 side. So any questions about facilities and grants or the concept design that we've been provided by the architects?
It looks like it's going to be a beautiful facility.
2-story, just a low footprint size?
Yes.
On the acres?
Yes, and cheaper to go up than it is out as far as square footage. So we're looking at this to be somewhere between 200,000 square feet to maybe 250,000 square feet, and then bring the enrollment numbers for Mary Parsons to be able to grow to a 2,000 to 2,200 size high school, because the freshman campus can take on 500 students, and we're looking for this to take on somewhere between 1,500 and 1,700 students. So we're trying to build for growth in there as well. Because of course this is a 2029 opening date, and so remember when we built onto the middle school 4 years ago, we designed 14 classrooms to go on there. Of course that was all that would fit in that space as well. But by the time the construction was done, we were already back out of space again due to the growth there. So we're going to try to grow a little bit here, but again, if you'll remember where we are in this whole process, the board approved at the June board meeting the architect firm, which is SP Design out of Macon, and then the board approved for a ballot question to go on the November ballot, and it's a two-part question. The first part of the question is, do you authorize the school district to borrow the money? And then the second part is, do you authorize the East Block to continue in order to fund the amount of debt that's going to come on from this project? And again, I'll just review some of the economics of this. This board bought all of the land 10 years ago, in which we have put the Fine Arts Center, the College and Career Academy, and new freshman campus, and now the new Mary Parsons High School. So we do not have to go out and purchase more land. We do not have to build a new football stadium. We do not have to build a new soccer field. So all of the athletic components or the ag components or the Fine Arts Center components, they're not even factored into this, which is why I know people got sticker shock when they hear 96.5 million or 100 million. But if you were to go build one from scratch, bottom up now, you're looking, our construction partners and our architect partners and our engineering partners are telling us that that number would be somewhere in the 160 to 170 million dollar price range. But we're building this on land that's already owned. It's not a 9 through 12 facility, it's a 10 through 12 facility. So again, that's a cheaper aspect of it. We're not having to build you know, a stadium or anything like that. So again, and we're replacing the school that has the highest amount of state funding because it's the oldest facility, and that's Mary Parsons High School. And if you remember, our grade band structure is going to be 5th graders out of all the elementary schools, combined with the 6th graders to go to the Bank Stevens campus, which is currently called Monroe County Middle School, but it used to be called Bank Stevens. And then before that, it was Monroe County Middle School before it split off. But and then 7th and 8th grade would go into a remodeled main campus. Okay. And then the 9th graders would be, of course, where they just started on August 1st, and then 10, 11, and 12 would go into this new facility for August of 2029. Any questions from there? Thank you, Mr. Flanders. All right, so next, Mr. Chairman, we have a revision of policy IFBG, which is Internet Acceptable Use. I'll call Mr. Josh Griffiths to the podium. But the nuts and bolts of this is we're trying to align our internet use policy with updated language from state legislative activity. So, Mr. Griffiths, I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening. Senate Bill 351 was signed by the governor following the 2024 legislative session, but many of the provisions of the bill don't go into effect until the current 25-26 school year. Tonight, I want to talk with you about the portion of the bill specifically relating to the Internet Acceptable Use Policy. We've had an Internet Acceptable Use Policy in place for many years, but this bill, as Dr. Finch mentioned, requires that policy to be updated. You can see in the attachment there in Assembly, the previous version of the policy has the strike-through language at the bottom, and then the proposed changes are shown in red. Jones and Cork has reviewed the proposed changes to make sure it meets the requirements in the legislation. And I also want to note that the proposed changes don't change any of our current practices. We already have all these things in place. It just brings the policy in line with current practice and in line with the requirements of the bill. So the recommendation is to place the revisions to policy IFBG, Internet Acceptable Use, on first reading for public comment, and then during the September meeting, we'll present it to you again for final approval. Are there any questions?
It's just kind of the first look. It says for public comment for 30 days, and then September, you will approve the final version of this. All right, so no action taken. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Griffiths?
I believe we do need a
Motion for the revisions? Okay.
Got a motion and a second, all those in favor? Unanimous.
All right, so, next would be the approval of FY26 Perkins Grant and the local plan, and that falls up under the direct supervision of Ms. Laura Rackley, who's our Assistant Superintendent for CTAE, and also our CEO of our College and Career Academy. And just remind board members that this is an action that you take every year, and so some of you that have been doing this for a while, you will recognize this pattern, but I'll turn it over to Ms. Rackley at this time, and she will walk us through this approval process.
Okay. As Dr. Finch said, this is something that local boards of education have to do annually in order for the district to be able to budget and expend those funds that are granted to us from the federal level in terms of support for CTAE programs. And so the comprehensive local needs assessment reflects the local plan, and that's something that's conducted every 2 years. So the plan that's attached there in Assembly and that's in your notebook is actually the one that we've used for the last 2 years, the same one that you approved last year with a few revisions of updates to names and things like that. We actually will be going through the comprehensive local needs assessment process again this year to determine those overarching needs and priorities for our local plan for next year. And so at this point, the administration recommends the approval of the Perkins Grant Award and the local plan for FY26.
All right. Looking for a motion? That's it. Motion and a second. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the next item would be to enter executive session, and we'll take a quick break for our board members as well, but the administration recommends the board enter into executive session to discuss personnel and matters involving students' education records.
All right. Looking for a motion. Motion and a second by Ms. Battle. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you.
Board members will take a little quick exit if you need to, and then come back in and we'll get back to it.
All right. We're out of executive session. And Mr. Rackley, you have something, recommendation for us?
Sure. Okay, administration recommends approval of the personnel actions on the blue sheet as discussed during executive session.
Absolutely.
We put the personnel recommendations on the blue sheet.
All right. Got a motion?
Second.
Second. Dr. Goodwin, all those in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you, board.
Dr. Finch, we got reminders.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We have the Temptations Experience featuring the Majestics. That's going to be on August 23rd at the Fine Arts Center at 7:30. We also have Underclassmen Honors Night. You know, that's been moved to the beginning of school years now for the underclassmen from last year's performance. That's on August 25th at 6 o'clock. And then your next regularly scheduled board meeting is September 9th at 5:30 p.m. here in our boardroom.
Thank you, Dr. Finch.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Might want to note for the record that Ms. Hoots is not present, so all unanimous votes were with 6 board members voting.
That's correct. Let it be known, Ms. Hughes is not in attendance for our meeting. Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Second by Mr. James. All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank y'all.